beautiful souls, and welcome back to Evolving with Kylie, where we grow in self-awareness, reclaim our power, and live more intentionally. Today's topic is 3 things that quietly drain your energy. You might not even realize you're doing them. I've caught myself in all of these patterns before, and once I started shifting them, everything changed. My energy, my relationships, and my peace. Number 1, trying to control others. When we try to control others, telling them what to do, pushing our advice on them, or getting frustrated when they don't listen to what we're telling them, we're actually leaking our energy. And the other person, they start to pull back. They feel your energy trying to invade their space. And instead of opening up, they contract, avoid, or even become fearful. Dr. David Hawkins, who wrote Power versus Force, talks about this. Control and force operate in a low vibration and come from fear. What helps me in checking in with myself, usually when I'm trying to control, it's because there's a fear inside of me that hasn't been faced. So from my experience, for most of my life, I was trying to control my parents. They're drinking, they're smoking, their continuous bad habits with not knowing how to spend their money or not paying the bills. Things in my environment were constantly going wrong. So from a young age, I was always trying to control my environment so that I could feel safe. So this way of being started a long time ago when I was younger and I didn't know any better, and this was more like a survival mechanism for myself to feel safe. But like every patterned behavior that has started in childhood, most of us end up taking this behavior into our adulthood when we are on our own and not needing to survive anymore. And these ways of being end up becoming not good for us or the people that we're around and end up draining our energy, okay? I'll give you an example. So after my mom passed, I used to spend a lot of special attention on my dad, trying to make sure he was okay. Well, trying to control him, trying to make sure he was doing the right thing. When my mom was alive, she took care of him a lot and didn't really hold him responsible for doing anything. And so when she passed, I felt maybe like I needed to take this responsibility on for my father and look after him. So the majority of the time when I was talking to him, it was, did you eat today? Did you go grocery shopping? Are you drinking still? Are you smoking? Are you trying to cut back? How's your cough? How are you sleeping? Okay? And anytime that he was doing something that I thought that he shouldn't be doing, because in that moment I would feel fear because he was doing something that he shouldn't be doing, I would project my fear onto him and pretty much give him a little bit of shit or say, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? So long story short, I'm sure many of you can relate with this type of energy. And maybe you can imagine what happens afterwards to the person and how I was mentioning before, how they start to pull back. So I started noticing that my dad started to lie to me about things. And this is a natural effect that happens when you try to control somebody, because nobody likes to be controlled and nobody feels comfortable with that energy. So even if you mean well and you care about the person, trying to control doesn't end well for either of you, because you end up severing the connection between you and the other person, because then they start to pull back, okay? So maybe checking in with your own fears instead of projecting them onto other people, because at the end of the day, everyone is going to do what they want to do, regardless of what you think is the best thing for them to do. And remind yourself that everyone is on their own path. and that is including yourself. It's not your job to control anyone. It's only your job to manage your energy and how you choose to respond. Number 2, blaming others for how we feel. I used to say things like, "You made me feel this way." But now I know that's not really true. And it took a long time for me to acknowledge this because I used to place everybody responsible for my feelings, fulfilling my needs. And if they didn't, I would blame them, and I thought that I couldn't trust them. And if you are in this, if you have these beliefs yourself, don't feel bad about it. Don't judge yourself. Just know that you didn't know better before, and life is all about learning and growing. So I had to come to this awareness as well, and it will take some time to embody this truth and to actually understand that your emotions are already active energy within your own energy field, and other people will be the way they want to be or act the way they want to act, which has nothing to do with you. But these actions will trigger already active emotions within your energy field. And the key is to start to acknowledge this. And in the moment when you feel triggered by somebody's actions, if you're in the beginning stages of acknowledging this truth, and in that moment you feel triggered and you want to lash out at the other person because this is your old way of being, the best thing to do in that moment is to walk away. Okay, walking away, having a pause, sitting in stillness with yourself, with that emotion. Because in the past, instead of sitting with it and feeling through it and letting it go or understanding it, you ended up projecting it onto somebody else and blaming them. So it never got acknowledged or taken responsibility or accountability for. So in that moment, if you want to lash out, walk away so that you can sit in that stillness and begin to understand what's going on within you, and to begin to release and or acknowledge that there are some needs inside of you that are not being met, that you are suppressing. The point is to better understand the emotions instead of projecting them and blaming them on other people. So Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that our emotions are conditioned energy patterns. And when we blame others, we're giving away our power instead of owning what's rising up inside of us. So that's pretty much what I was saying, is like taking away our accountability and projecting it on other people. So essentially you're avoiding your emotions and giving your power away. What helps is to pause and say, this is my energy, my emotion. Affirmations can really help in the moment when you are in the midst of an old energy pattern, like an old way of being, like an affirmation that you have said before that you can reach for and just say it to yourself in the moment to bring that energy and the vibration of the words inside of you to ground you and to set the intention of wanting to act or be in a different way. And I have the power to feel it. You have the power to feel it, to move through it, and release it. And this is how we take back our power, and that's how we start to own our energy. And number 3, speaking ill of others, gossiping, and harsh judgment. Words carry weight, and when we use them to tear others down, we end up lowering our own vibration. In the moment, you might feel a sense of superiority or feelings that you're feeling better about yourself by downing other people. And I have felt that myself in the moment, feeling a little bit of a high. But afterwards, you end up feeling groggy and gross and down. And this is actually your energy depleting from all of the negative energy that the words you were using and the negative intention draining from you. In the book, The Four Agreements, it reminds us to be impeccable with your word, because your words don't just affect others, they affect you as well. And I get it. Sometimes we speak harshly when we have suppressed our emotions for so long. Anger and resentment builds up and we end up exploding. And this is a natural thing that's going to happen, okay? But this isn't about shaming yourself. It's about noticing. Am I speaking from pain or from awareness? In these situations, what helps is expressing your needs regularly, so this doesn't build up to that point. Because when you're expressing from an organic place on a regular basis, you're coming from a more centered, calm place. You're just being assertive and straight with how you're feeling versus letting it build up over time, like a pop bottle that you've shook, and then you open it up and everything comes out super exaggerated and angry, and you end up saying things that afterwards, after you've exploded, you're like, why did I say that? Right? Because it's an exaggeration of all of your suppressed feelings that you've put down inside of you. Okay? And to be honest, it really doesn't feel good after you've done the talking ill of other people. And if you're reflecting on someone's behavior, do it from a place of clarity and not cruelty. There's a big difference between wise discernment and low vibe judgment. These shifts take practice, and the more you become aware of your own energy and where it's going, the more powerful and peaceful you feel. If you liked this video, check out Why You Keep Attracting Draining Relationships, linked above. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day, and remember to stay mindful.